Let's continue our conversation on Stoicism, going over the Moral Letters by Seneca. And letter 6, I think, is an interesting letter. It's a short letter. It doesn't have a whole lot of content, and yet I think there are some interesting points in it. So I didn't want to skip it. Let's just see what it says. From Seneca to Lucilius, greetings. My understanding is, Lucilius, that what is happening in me is not merely a removal of flaws, but a transformation. Not that there is nothing left in me to be amended. At this point, I don't promise that, nor do I expect it. Why should I not have many characteristics to sort through and either reduce or heighten? This is itself an indication that the mind has reached a better place, when it perceives faults in itself that previously went unrecognized. With some patients, it is cause for congratulation when they realize that they are ill. If only I could share such a sudden transformation with you, that's what I would like. In that case, I would begin to have more confidence in our friendship, for it would then be a true friendship, such as no hope, no fear, no self-interest can sever. That is a friendship that stays with people until they die, and that people die for. I can name you many people who have friends and yet are without friendship. This is not the case, though, where equal willingness draws minds into a companionship of honorable intentions. How could it be? For they know that everything they have is held in common, and especially their trials. You cannot imagine how much progress I see myself making every day. What remedies are these that have done so much for you, you say? Send them to me too. Indeed, I'm longing to shower you with all of them. What gives me pleasure in learning something is that I can teach it. Nothing will ever please me, not even what is remarkably beneficial, if I have learned it for myself only. If wisdom were given to me with this proviso that I should keep it shut up in myself and never express it to anyone else, I should refuse it. No good is enjoyable to possess without a companion. So I will send you the books themselves, and I will annotate them too, so that you need not expend much effort hunting through them for the profitable bits, but can get right away to the things that I endorse and am impressed with. But formal discourse will not do as much for you as direct contact, speaking in person and sharing a meal. You must come and see me face to face. First of all, because humans believe their eyes much more than their ears, and second, because learning by precepts is the long way around. The quick and effective way is to learn by example. If Cleanthes had merely listened to Zeno, remember that's the second head and the first head of Stoicism, respectively, he would not have been molded by him. Instead, he made himself a part of Zeno's life, looking into his inmost thoughts and seeing whether he lived in accordance with his own rule. Plato and Aristotle and the whole crowd of philosophers who would later go their separate ways all derive more from Socrates' conduct than from his words. Metrodorus, Hermarchus, and Polyaenus were made great men not by Epicurus' formal instruction, but by living together with him. Nor do I summon you to me only for your own benefit. It is for my benefit as well. Each of us has much to bestow on the other. Meanwhile, as I owe you the daily dole, I will tell you what pleased me today in the writings of Hackathon. Quote, do you ask what progress I have made? I have begun to be a friend to myself. End quote. Valuable progress indeed. He will never be alone. Believe me, such a person will be a friend to everyone. Farewell. I think there are a couple of very interesting things here. Seneca is talking about friendship and talks about friendship a lot here. I think friendships are sometimes misunderstood, and I think that is a little bit of a sign of our times sometimes. And for example, if I look at my my Facebook, I have something like 5,000 friends. I know this because I can't add any more people because they're full, and sometimes some people leave, and then I can add a few more. But I mean, I have this. However, in good faith, I cannot call all 5,000 of these people to be good friends, because the vast majority, I would probably say something along the lines of 99%, I have never even met. So these are people that follow my stuff on Facebook, but that's it though, right? there are different kinds of friendship, and I think it's important to understand that those differences exist. There are kinds of friendship where you see each other every day, so to speak. And those can be good friendships. There also are friendships where you see each other once in a while, and months can pass or weeks can pass without interacting, and then when you do interact with each other again, it's like no time has passed at all. I have always enjoyed those friendships best. And when I look at the friendships I have in my life, there only is a handful of people that I would truly consider to be my friends, but all those people are persons who have stood the test of time, so to speak, who are still around, and I'm still around in their lives, so I have done that for them. And it can be like that. It can be a situation where you simply don't see or speak for a longer period of time, and you just slip right into the last conversation you had the last time you saw those people when you meet up again. And I think it matters to make that distinction. Some friendships are not truly friendships, but merely acquaintanceships. Some friendships are very shallow. Some friendships turn out to not be the friendship that you thought they were. And as time progresses and as you grow older, you notice this more, I think, but certain friendships go and dissipate and just end, disappear. And I think it's very important to understand that and to accept that. And I genuinely believe that there are certain friendships, certain people. This applies to all relationships, really, but I'm talking specifically about friendships for this video, at least. So there are friendships that I think were never meant to last forever, that never were to be forever, but they were useful to you at the time and beneficial to you at the time, and then they may phase out or they may become less intense, and that's okay. It's a natural progression. Other friendships will stay with you sometimes for many years, but until the day you die. And again, that's a completely different class of friendship. And this is not a necessarily particularly Stoic viewpoint, but I do think sometimes it's good to formulate those types of thoughts, because for me it has made a big difference in realizing that. I was in high school. Obviously, I wasn't in high school. I mean, when I was in high school, I had two friends that I would label as close friends, and one I'm still occasionally in touch with, but it really is occasionally. It's a couple times a year, if that. And the other is lost to the void, so to speak. We're just not in touch anymore, and there have been no fights. But that can happen. You can grow apart. And when I was in high school and some things were hard, I know this will come as a massive shock to you, but I was not necessarily the popular kid in high school. I was not necessarily, I mean, that is really hard to believe, but I was never the star athlete, right? Like, I was the kid that was picked last in gym class. That's okay. It's the way it was, but kind of so were my friends, right? Because you congregate together. And at that time, I think we were good friends, and we were of great support to each other. But then you move off and you go to university, in our case, 3 different universities. And again, you can lose track of each other. And it's okay. It's okay. Because they were there when you needed those people. And later that can phase out. And it's okay. This is not something to be sad about. Because you have those memories which were pleasant. Right? And I think that's an important thing to once in a while remind yourself of. The, pardon me, the second aspect of this letter that I find very interesting, pardon me, is actually not Seneca, but is Hecaton. Do you ask what progress I have made? I have begun to be a friend to myself. That one is vital. And that is something that we all must learn. And for some of us, it's hard. There always are things you don't like about yourself, whether those are physical things or mental things. But if you can learn to accept yourself for who you are, for what you are, it makes all the difference. And I think that, from my experience, the moment I started to do that, my life became a lot easier. I am who I am. I have made mistakes. I have done certain things wrong, or to put it a bit more constructively, in a suboptimal manner. I could have done certain things better. I don't have a whole lot of regrets. If I could go back in time, I would definitely do certain things differently. But I am at peace with everything that I have done and that has happened to me. And I am a friend to myself. And I like myself. I like myself as the person I am today. And becoming this person has taken work. Has been... I always kind of... my hair stands on end a bit when people say, because that's part of the journey. I don't know why, but that always rubs me the wrong way a bit. But I mean, it's kind of part of a journey. It's part of your development. It's part of everything you are going through. And if you can learn to do that, and sometimes that takes a bit of help from an outsider, from a professional, and that's okay. But if you can learn to do that, learn to appreciate yourself for who you are, for what you are, I think your life becomes so much easier and so much more pleasant, and you will find so much more peace. And that is, after all, these are talks about Stoicism. That, I think, is a very Stoic thought. I am me. I may have made some mistakes, but I can't change the past. I can change the future, though, because the future is in making as we speak. And by the choices I make now, I can be a different person. And that is vital. You can change. I come back to a quote from Carl Sagan that I really like. No longer at the mercy of the reptile brain. We can change ourselves. Think of the possibilities. You have that option. You have those possibilities. But you have to do it. Don't change for others. Change for yourself. Think who you want to be, and then be that person. This will take practice and effort and hard work, but every single step that you take to become your own person will be worth it. And in that process, you will lose a couple friends. Because if you change, not everyone can handle that. But if you change for the good, that is not become self-absorbed, I'm not saying that, not doing whatever you want just because you want to do it, not considering others, that's not a good thing, that's not a Stoic thing. But I think that was clear, right? If you strive to be the very best version of yourself you can be, you may still lose some friends because they don't like who you are anymore. Maybe because you no longer match the view they had of you or what they think you would be or would become. But then you are your own person. And that's what matters most. Be your own person with your own strengths and your own weaknesses, but those you can continue to work on. And we shall have peace. I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think. I will happily see you again next week for more talk about Stoicism. And as always, I'm very grateful for all the support I receive. These videos are always... Reading the comments to these videos is one of my favorite things to do, because people really share very interesting thoughts and feelings in these videos, and that matters a lot to me. So, I hope this was useful. I'll gladly see you next week. Bye-bye.